Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is Dave G, and we are going to dive into the best and the worst head coach openings in the NFL today. There are currently 7 available head coaching vacancies, and we're going to go through every single one and rank them. Starting at number 7, I got the Cleveland Browns. This is the worst job currently available on the market, and it's because of a lot of things. One, the Browns are an extremely poorly ran organization. Historically, they can't do anything right. Why would any top coaching candidate expect that to change? Especially when you don't have a quarterback in place. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Shedeur. Well, Shedeur just had a QBR of 18.8, which is the worst in Browns history. And I don't think any coach would want to deal with the Shedeur Sanders fan base and deal with Andrew Berry, who has made some very questionable moves as GM of the Browns, and an owner who is impulsive and doesn't really seem like he knows what he's doing. So why would anybody want to be a part of the Cleveland Browns and get harassed by fans in their DM if they don't start Shedeur Sanders, or have to sit up at the podium and talk game after game after game to the press and answer questions about why Shedeur is on the bench, or why did he do this play, or why did he do that? It doesn't matter if Shedeur is the 5th string quarterback or on the practice squad. That will always be the topic. So why would anybody want to walk into a circus like that? There's no top coaching candidate that would want anything to do with the Browns. Yes, their defense is good. They have Myles Garrett, the all-time sack record holder, but that doesn't change the fact that this is an offensive league, and the Browns on offense have been atrocious. Not to mention you lose Quinshon Judkins for probably the rest of the season. Who knows after that? Hope he gets better, but I mean, you're not really walking in with anything, and it's a weak quarterback class, so you are most likely going to have to stick with Shedeur for at least a year. And I just don't think that a head coach wants that. I truly do not think so. I have the Browns dead last at 7. Sorry, Cleveland fans. Number 6, we got the Cardinals. Obviously, just moved off Jonathan Gannon. Another situation, you don't have a quarterback. Kyler Murray will be traded. They are done. The relationship is broken. They will work out a trade or find a way to get him going, because they don't want anything to do with Kyler Murray. And I wouldn't either. I think the small quarterback thing needs to go. I would not draft a small quarterback, especially not one of Kyler Murray's size. I do not care how good they are. But that's a topic for another day. Now, the Cardinals are a team that has not been relevant for I can't tell you how long. It just seems like they're always bottom of the barrel. You don't have weapons like that. And you're talking about Marvin Harrison being some generational prospect coming out of college. How has he been playing? He's been playing awful. So you're walking into a situation with no real number 1 option on the outside at receiver, and you don't have a quarterback, and it's a weak class. So that makes this job very undesirable. Yes, Trey McBride, superstar, going to be one of the best tight ends in the league, but you need the quarterback. And this is an old roster, and I just do not see Arizona being a destination that any top coach candidate would want to work in. So they're at number 6. Number 5, the Tennessee Titans. You know, I like Cam Ward, actually. I think that Cam Ward is coming along. I do think that Cam Ward will be a decent quarterback in the NFL. And if you're a coaching candidate looking for a job, you have to consider everything we just talked about. You need a quarterback. So if you are taking the Titans' job, you know they're not moving off Cam Ward. It's only been 1 year. You're going into year 2 with the guy, whether you like it or not. So if a candidate doesn't like Cam Ward, then he's not taking the job. And the Titans have a lot more bigger problems than Cam Ward. This is a very extremely weak roster without any depth. And they're very young. They have some playmate. Like, I love DK. I think that they got some sneaky guys, but it's just not enough to justify a top head coach candidate who could go XYZ. It would have to take a lot of convincing and a blank check to get them to coach the Tennessee Titans, because the post Mike Vrabel Tennessee Titans are as bad as it gets. I mean, they have played some of the worst football in the NFL, and it's a big personnel problem. It's a big personnel problem. And then you have Cam Ward saying that he wants to go interview coaches himself during the hiring process. When have you ever heard a rookie quarterback who's played as bad as Cam Ward has in his rookie year talk like that? It's alarming. I wouldn't want to go anywhere near the situation. So they're my number 5. Moving on to number 4, we got the Giants. The New York Giants are number 4. Now we're getting to the mid section of this list. I don't think that the New York Giants is a bad job. You know, you got Wan'Dale Robinson on the outside. Malik Neighbors, star wide receiver. He'll be back off his ACL, I believe. And if you like Jackson Dart. Now, personally to me, I did say that I liked Jackson Dart to be the best out of his class. However, after watching him play football in the NFL, if he does not change his play style, then there will not be any desire for any coach to want to go and coach him. He needs to stop taking hits. He needs to play quarterback. They need a good offensive coordinator. There's a lot of checks. And this is a New York media who will rip you apart at any chance they can. We're talking about an owner who's impulsive. And I'm going to be honest, if you go to an Arizona Cardinals team, you're going to have a lot more time than you would with the New York Giants. The New York Giants is a 3 and done. If you have 3 years, maybe 4 if you're lucky. And even then, you have to show something in the first couple years. Show something. If you go out and win 3-4 games, it's going to be a tough time for you in New York. You're going to get chewed up at the podium. You're going to get chewed up by reporters. There's going to be hit pieces everywhere. They're going to say you're not qualified for the job. It's just a nightmare, and it's a lot of pressure for a coach to come in, overhaul that entire staff, and get that thing right from top to bottom. It's going to be very, very difficult. But it's a lot better of a situation than the Browns, than the Titans, and the Cards, I believe. And I don't like the GM. I think the Giants GM, Joe Sheehan, has shown that he is not capable and he's not qualified to be the GM of such a big organization, and especially in such a big city where all the eyes are on you. So that is an immense amount of pressure for any candidate that comes through New York, whether it's the Jets, whether it's the Giants. I mean, look at Aaron Glenn. I don't know how he has a job right now, but I'm seeing the discourse online, and it is bad. They want his head. So that's going to be tough seeing, well, I mean, they're trying to blow Aaron Glenn up. I don't want any part of that. I don't want any part of that New York environment. That's what coaches are going to say coming into this. So I have the New York Giants at number 4, and it's a question at quarterback. It's a question mark. I don't think he's bad, but I don't know if he's good. So it's a question mark, and it's a roll of the dice. If you take that job, you're rolling the dice not only on the New York Giants and being in the New York media environment, you're rolling the dice on if this is your guy or not in Jackson Dart. So I have them at number 4. And at number 3, surprisingly high, the Raiders. I think the Raiders are in a great position. And I know they had a bad year. But you get rid of Geno Smith, you fire Pete Carroll, you're looking to bring in a new head coach, and Tom Brady is now going to be a lot more involved than he ever was when first being a minority owner. So if you get Fernando Mendoza, because they have the Raiders have the first overall pick, you get your pick of the litter. Now it's a weak litter. It's a weak QB class, but you have your pick. And the only guy worthy of picking that high in this draft, in my opinion, is Fernando Mendoza out of Indiana. So if you are a head coach, you have the first overall pick, you take Fernando Mendoza, you have a star running back in Ashton Jeanty, a star tight end in Brock Bowers. You have a star pass rusher in Max Crosby. And pass rushers nowadays are a premium. So this team has the pieces, and not to mention, Tom Brady is probably going to be in Fernando Mendoza's ear every step of the way. Who better to be a mentor to a first overall pick quarterback than the greatest quarterback to ever play and ever throw a football? So it's a great situation to be. You know, the owner stepped back a little bit, which I love. I felt like he was too involved in the past. He has stepped back. Now you have a clear vision, a clear canvas, and I think that the Raiders' job is very, very, very slept on. I really do, because I do like Fernando Mendoza. I really, really like Fernando Mendoza. After that, I don't like any of the other quarterbacks in this class. So the fact that you have the first overall pick with the Raiders, that's a huge plus. I think a lot of coaches would sign up for that. Number 2, the Atlanta Falcons. Bijan Robinson, arguably the best running back, the most explosive running back in the NFL. Drake London, one of the most physical receivers at the point of catch. Absolutely great route runner. Amazing overall receiver. Amazing player. You retain Kyle Pitts. If they do decide to bring him back and pay him, that's another legit weapon. So we have 2 big body weapons on the outside, a running back in Bijan Robinson, who is out of this world, plays like an alien, and a defense that you could potentially get to play better. And I don't think that the Falcons are anywhere near a poorly ran franchise. I just think they've had a lot of bad breaks, and they've had a lot of bad hires, and they're one hire away. Now, my biggest question mark with the Falcons is the quarterback situation. And that's the theme you're going to notice when we're talking head coach openings. The quarterback situation for the Atlanta Falcons is really bad right now. And it's because Michael Penix is not able to stay healthy at all. And this is something he's dealing with his entire career, even in college. He's had so many knee surgeries up to this point. I think it's over for him. I really do believe that, as hard as it is to say, and I don't want to believe it. I think the Michael Penix era is over, and I don't think Kirk Cousins is the solution either. So you're in a situation where if you come into Atlanta, you are not going to have a draft pick high enough in this weak quarterback class to justify taking a guy in the draft. So you're probably going to have to wait till the next draft. And that's something that you're going to have to know coming into this. Hey, it could be bumpy this first year. You know, yeah, Kirk Cousins will bring you stability, and he can be the bridge until you draft your guy in the next year. But it might get bumpy in that year, and whoever comes in is going to have to be able to handle that. So I love the owner of the Atlanta Falcons, Arthur. I think that they're going to do a good job, a long search, and I think the weapons on offense justify it. You know, this is a good job. This is a good job, and whoever the Falcons get, I think that they will have some success in year 2. Maybe not year 1, but year 2. Number 1 on Dave G's list, the Baltimore Ravens. As you know, the Baltimore Ravens fired John Harbaugh yesterday, and this is the best job in football right now. You have a franchise quarterback in Lamar Jackson, who is one of the best to lace him up, one of the most physically gifted players we've seen. And this entire time, he has been under a regime that is strictly defensive. So if you can bring in an offensive mind at head coach, or it could even be a defensive mind, and you bring in a great offensive coordinator, I think that you're going to get a Lamar Jackson that you haven't seen before. I think they'll be able to unlock a part of Lamar that you have not seen before. So out of every single team on this list, this is the outlier. This is the only franchise with real stability, all-time great franchise, with a franchise quarterback in Lamar Jackson and a defense that has some studs. I mean, Nate Wiggins, stud. Kyle Hamilton, stud. Marlon Humphrey, stud. I mean, these are guys who play at a high level. There is not another team on this list that you are going to get better than or even close to. In what situation does a head coach walk into a franchise as good as the Baltimore, as well ran from top to bottom as the Baltimore Ravens? You got your quarterback, you're ready to go year one immediately. And I love that spot for any offensive mind. Like I said, even if it's a defensive-minded head coach like Brian Flores, just make sure you get an OC creative like Cliff Kingsbury or something along those lines. The Baltimore job is the best job on the market. Do not be fooled. And it's not even close in my opinion. That is all for today. Let me know what you think about the list. Did I get the order wrong? Did I offend you? I'm sorry. Let me know in the comments. I will be reading and replying to all. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It really, really will help out the channel. It's been Dave G, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.